Hi everyone, my name is Jade Calver. I own and operate Calver and Associates Canadian Immigration Services. We're a full-service immigration firm located in the heart of Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Today we're going to talk about processing and request times for various parts of the immigration process. We receive a lot of questions from our clients asking about when they'll receive certain letters or certain request letters from Immigration Canada. So today I'm going to clarify what these timelines look like. Again, this is as of March 2020, so if you're watching this in the future, remember that these times may have changed. So our first question from one of our clients was, how long will it take to receive my biometrics instruction letter? So again, as of last year, Immigration Canada requires everybody coming on a temporary residency application, for the most part, to have their fingerprints taken before they come to Canada. So for temporary residency, usually you'll receive the biometrics letter within a month of having applied for your visa. So you'll apply for your visa online, so whether it be a work permit or a study permit or a temporary resident visa, and then usually within about a month we'll receive the biometrics letter. Again, you have the 30 days to complete your biometrics. So that means you'll have to take the letter and your passport to the visa application center and provide biometrics. If, for example, you're asking about the biometrics letter for permanent residency application, those applications, we usually see the biometrics instruction letter come in closer to the end of the process. So if it's an express entry application, it's usually about around month 5 or 6, sometimes closer to 7 or 8, depending on how long the application is taking. Same thing for a spousal sponsorship application, usually closer to month 11 or 12, again, closer to the end of the process. The next question that we get is, when will I receive my medical exam instruction letter? For temporary residency applications, it depends on the country, of course. Usually, again, it's about halfway through the process. So I find if a country takes 3 weeks to process an application, you'll get it, again, almost instantly within a week or two. If your local visa office takes 3 to 4 months to process temporary applications, again, it can take a couple of months to arrive. For permanent residency applications with medical exam requests, usually those come if you can submit after you've submitted a permanent residency application. Usually those requests come closer to the end of processing. So usually, depending on how long the process takes, so for example, with a spousal sponsorship application, that usually comes in around month, 6 to 8, and then the application is processed shortly thereafter. Lots of people ask when we're finalizing permanent residency applications, how about my confirmation of permanent residency? How quickly will I get that back from the visa office once I've submitted my passport, pictures, and other documents to the visa office? General turnaround time is about 4 weeks. For you to get your passport back. Again, remember, some countries don't actually have visa offices, and the visa application center doesn't actually stamp your passport. So for example, some Persian Gulf countries, they're actually sending your passport to a regional visa office for stamping. So that can take a little bit longer, closer up to 6 weeks to get your visa and your passport back. So just keep that in mind when planning travel to Canada. A frequent question that we have, especially with the popularity of express entry, is how long will my WEST results take to be processed, and how long will my English test results take to get back? So I'll start with WES applications. Again, this is very country specific, and it's also dependent on how quickly you as an applicant get documentation to them and how quickly your institution gets documentation to them. Again, I've seen WES reports issued within about 3 weeks from when a client started the process, but I've also seen it take up to 4 months. A lot of the time when it takes longer, it's because your issuing institution has, there's been a delay in them providing the documentation to WES. And again, everything has to be sent to here in Canada. But generally, on average, I find it takes about 2 months for, from start to finish for a WES report to be issued. When it comes to language results, again, it depends on the processing center, but it's fairly standard from the date that you take the test, whether it's IELTS or the CELPIP. It takes about 3 weeks for you to get your results. You'll get a soft copy of your results via email, so you'll know how you did. And then you'll get the hard copy, which you need to apply for a permanent residency via the mail, usually within about 3 weeks from the date of the test. The last question that we get in terms of processing times and requests from Immigration Canada is how long will it take me to get the request for the citizenship test and for the citizenship ceremony. So generally how it works is that once you apply for citizenship, you will get a request for fingerprinting, usually within about 3 months from when you've applied. The citizenship test usually happens around month, I would say anywhere from 4 to 7, and then that citizenship exam can happen anywhere from month 6 until month 12. So again, I always tell my clients to plan for 12 months total when applying for citizenship. Again, I've seen it happen, citizenship happen within about 6 months, but you should always plan for what's stated by Immigration Canada, which is 12 months for citizenship. Thanks everyone. I hope I was able to clarify processing times for 2020 for IRCC requests. If you have any questions regarding these timelines or any other immigration questions, you can contact our firm. We're online at calverimmigrationservices.com.